Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, we'll get this press conference going. If you want to play the tape, Bray. And if you look at the TV, you'll see some of the promotional bands that will be joining us this week, or this summer. And before I go on, I want to introduce your 41st mayor of the city of Dunkirk to the podium. How about a round of applause for Mayor Wilfred Rosas.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone once again to City Hall. And also thank each and every one of you for coming out as we begin to formally announce our City of Dunkirk Music on the Pier Summer Concert Series lineup for 2019. We have a very exciting lineup this year. And I just want to mention that without the support of our sponsors, these things don't happen here in the city. So, you know, our sponsors, some of them are here right now for our Music on the Pier concert series. And the city has received a lot of recognition, both statewide and regionally. Last year, we received some recognition by the Lake Erie magazine, and that's a tri-county magazine. So this is happening because of our special events that we have going on here in the city. And these things, again, don't happen without the support of our sponsors. So please, a round of applause for all of our sponsors. I would also like to thank the team that puts these events together. There is a lot of planning that goes on behind the scenes, a lot of legwork that goes on, and a lot of negotiating that goes on behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. This team, the special events team, has done a wonderful job. I couldn't be more proud of this team, led by our special events coordinator, Hector Rosas. These people have been working very hard for me and for the city residents. The events that we bring here we use sponsorship funds to pay for these events. And when I say that, I mean that some of the acts that we're bringing in are good acts that cost a lot of money, and the money that's used to pay for those acts, again, are not taxpayer dollars. The taxpayer dollars that we use are to provide, you know, public safety. That's police, fire, and our DPW, as well as our development department. That's a small price to pay, so the city's getting a good bang for their buck, so to speak. So just a round of applause for our team. I think you'll be surprised at some of the acts that we're bringing in here in the city of Dunkirk. I meet with some mayors at conferences, and they're all very impressed with the things that we're able to do here with our special events. I'm very proud to be the mayor that is supporting these events here in the city of Dunkirk. So at this time, I would like to turn it back over to our special events director. Thank you.
Well, before I continue with my presentation, I want to call up Rebecca Yanis, our Director of Planning and Development, so she can say a few words.
Thank you, Hector. And I just want to thank all the sponsors that are here today that make these special events and the Music on the Pier a reality. I just wanted to give a little brief background on the importance of festivals and events in communities such as Dunkirk. Events and festival tourism is one of the fastest growing forms of tourism. They are becoming increasingly popular in rural areas as a means to revitalize local economies. Festivals and special events play important roles in destination development, image makers, animators of static attractions, and catalysts for other developments. Events have a direct and indirect impact on our communities. They provide opportunities for participation, skills development, volunteering, and social and cultural, economic, and environmental developments. Community events and festivals can attract tourists and visitors at a regional, national, and international level. Events help to capture the attention and to promote attraction and infrastructure. They make it possible to maximize and rationalize the use of certain spaces. Preservation of these spaces may result in financial benefits and the dissemination of artistic and cultural heritages. The benefits of festivals to communities can be extensive, particularly when the draw is from the outside region. Research shows that the more involved local people and suppliers are in terms of provisions of services, foods, beverages, and attractions, the greater the economic benefit to the region. Local vendors, artisans, craftspeople, restaurants, hotelers, and innkeepers may make a large portion of their annual income during the course of an event. And the importance that our festivals and events bring to our community is so important because of the fact that it brings in tourism, but it's also a free event for our community and really brings our community together. So I just want to give a round of applause to Hector for the job that he's done in bringing the festivals and events to the city of Dunkirk and his team and our team. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, well, now we can start our lineup, and before I do, I want to recognize all the sponsors, give them a quick shout. You guys can hold on your applause until after they're all named. All right, so we want to start with the presenting sponsors of our very popular and award-winning Music on the Pier Summer Concert Series. That kicks off on June 6th this year, and that is in conjunction with our Spring Fest. The Spring Fest will entail a blues bash, never before seen of its kind here in Western New York. We're going to bring bands in from Memphis, Tennessee. If you Google Taz Crew, you'll see that he's on a 36-state national tour right now, and he'll be our closing act for the blues bash. Taz Crew plays his own handmade cigar box, blues from Tennessee. There's many different genres within that blues genre itself. We'll have Chicago blues performers coming in. Joanna Connor is a phenomenal lead guitarist, female, who plays blues, Chicago-style blues. And we have another girl coming in from Memphis, Hannah, and the Blue Hearts, her first time here. And so we have a really exciting and thrilling lineup for the Blues Bash. And that's thanks to our presenting sponsors, DFT Communications, Schultz Resale Center, and Brooks TLC Kaleida. They're all present here. And like I said, if you can just hold off on those applauses. The stage sponsor is Chautauqua Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, with beautiful Janelle Frazier could join us today. Dennis McCarthy representing the hospitals here with Kaleida. We also have Dan Syracuse here and Diane representing DFT. And Schultz, Mike couldn't be here, but he said he was going to send someone. So we just want to be very grateful and show our appreciation for the presenting sponsors that make Music on the Pier Summer Concert Series what it is today and what it has become. The mayor mentioned some awards. The Lake Erie Living magazine is actually a quad-state area magazine that reaches Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and the Ontario, Canada area, not to mention and forget New York State. So you got the quad state area plus Canada. That's a huge 350,000 subscription magazine. We were recognized as the top hotspot on Lake Erie. We're also in Chautauqua County Visitors Bureau, the magazine, and on their websites. And we're also with Pam Forge's magazine, Explore New York. If you look on the Explore magazine, which just happens to be going out today per our agreement, and our ad is in that page 38, I believe, if my eyesight doesn't deceive me. So we'll continue with our Music on the Pier lineup first, and I'll release the names of the bands and the sponsors of those bands. And I just want to also acknowledge all of the sponsors before I begin with the Music on the Pier. Let's go right down. Fieldbrook has now become Wells, so we'll have to change that on your posters. If you're looking, it still says Fieldbrook. Obviously, this was designed quite a few months ago. So recently, we got word that Wells has just merged and is actually the 51% owner of that company now. So Wells has the title name for the sponsorship. National Grid, Farrell Roofing, who's with us today also. We want to thank you for your sponsorship. We also want to thank the JCC College, the Fredonia College, the Observer, WDOE will be doing live feeds on the kickoff to the Music on the Pier on June 6th at the pier with their van. That's a first of its kind here for the Music on the Pier. We'll also be doing a live feed during the Springfest, during our arts and craft, the flea market, and the Blues Bash. And then we have a movie that night, and there's also a 3x3 basketball tournament sponsored by the Dunkirk Recreation Committee. And we also have the Great Lakes Experience with over 40 exhibitors joining us this year, happening at Memorial Park. So there's going to be a lot of foot traffic going on that weekend to kick it off. So we want to thank all of our sponsors, including the City of Dunkirk, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Conservation Club, Fredonia College Observer, the Community Foundation, and Lakeshore Savings Bank, obviously. Very, very integral part of our events. Dan Reiniger has been a very integral part of that, so we want to definitely remember him. We also have APG Sound and Technicians. Excite is a new company out of Germany who has jumped into the equation here to sponsor us, and the Pike Company also. The mayor and I received a call yesterday that Johnson Lau was in town. He's the new owner of the Athenix company. Was in town yesterday. So good news there. Athenix also sponsoring. And we have the City of Dunkirk, H&K Williams, Bart's Cove, ECR International, Agricultural Transport, Refresco for the first time. Refresco, who just bought out Cott Beverages, is online as a presenting sponsor here for the City of Dunkirk. Fredonia College again, Lawley, Tradition Insurance, Chautauqua Nursing Rehabilitation Center, and Holiday Harbor. Schultz Resale Center, Hope, Hispanics Organized for Progress in Education, the Blue Cross Blue Shield, another new sponsor. We'll move on with United Healthcare, who sponsored last year and has agreed to come back with twice the amount of the donation. So we're very happy to have United Healthcare on board also. We have Merritt Winery, Best Western Hotel, and Clarion Hotel, Lakeshore Savings Bank again, and I think that pretty much covers everyone. If I forgot somebody, please raise your hand, because there are a lot of sponsors to mention. So we're going to start with June 6th, and we'll kick it off June 6th with a Journey Tribute Band, which is out of Minnesota, the state of Minnesota. We found these guys. They sound just like them. On the back camera here, or a TV monitor, you'll see all of the bands that will be playing here. They sent us promotional videos. They put stuff together, and they're on there right now. So you'll take a peek. And the Journey Tribute Band will be joining us. The opening act for that will be the Freeze Band. That is the opening week, and that's sponsored by our stage sponsor, Chautauqua Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. A round of applause for CNRC. So we continue the 7th and the 8th with the Spring Festival, sponsored by Wells and the former Fieldbrook, okay, National Grid. And that weekend kicks off with a Blues Bash, all right? The Blues Bash lineup is Shaky Ray's Blues Band. We'll have Hannah and the Blue Hearts on June 7th. June 8th is Turbulence, then Who Man, and then it finishes up with Taz Crew and his band of Tortured Souls out of Tennessee. So, as you can see, we've got quite a lineup for the Blues Bash. Right then, on the 8th, we have the Super Flea Market still continuing on, and then the 3-on-3 basketball tournament sponsored by Dunkirk Recreation, and then a movie at dusk. June 8th also has going on with it. Like I said, there's a lot of traffic. The 40 exhibitors with the Great Lakes Experience. We want to not forget the annual Memorial Day Parade, which takes place May 27th. That's on a Monday. This year it's a large parade. Bring your families and enjoy that parade. It's a wonderful lineup this year. Many of the drum and bugle corps returning for that parade. We also have June 15th and 16th. We have another festival, the Juneteenth Festival. That'll be done right there at Memorial Park. That takes us to June 13th, where we have Sean Patrick McGraw. That's our second night of the Music on the Pier, sponsored by Kosciuszko Club. That is Sean Patrick McGraw out of Nashville, Tennessee. Opening act is Pedro and the Smooth Cats, local band. That's sponsored by Farrell Roofing. So June 20th, we move on, is Uncle Ben's Remedy. Uncle Ben's Remedy, sponsored by DFT Communications. Opening act is Furious George. And then we move into a very nice surprise that I'm happy to share with you. After 4 years of applying to the Department of Defense for a military band, we finally have that. On June 27th, we'll have the military band, the Air National Guard Band of the Northeast, will be performing with this large ensemble here, along with another fine show from British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia, the Town Pants. That's also sponsored by Lakeshore Savings Bank. About a round of applause for Dan Reiniger. That's going to be a huge act. The military band coming in is a first under the leadership of Mayor Rosas here, and we really worked hard to try to get that and applied with the DOD permits every year, and we finally, they finally found out who we are, and they pushed it through, and so we were very fortunate to have the Air National Guard. I've sent letters out to all the veterans clubs, and they're going to put out quite a show for these guys. They're going to feed them, and they can't take money. So we're going to make sure they're fed pretty well. They'll put on a few pounds here today. Okay, we'll continue on. July 4th celebration comes in, and we're going to have basically 3 Music on the Pier nights combined into that weekend. We're going to do the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll take off the 6th, and the 7th is the car show, which draws in about 750 cars up at Point Gratiot. And the city of Dunkirk will be working closely with them, and they've already identified the band as Who Man, all right, for the Lakeshore and Street Rod Association, the annual harbor cruise. Don't forget that the city of Dunkirk also provides the largest fireworks celebration in Chautauqua County. We have a wonderful surprise for you. The supplier of the largest fireworks celebration will also be doing a closing fireworks celebration for the Great Lakes Offshore Grand Prix show. So that's Sunday night. We will finish with a very worthy of CBS Sports television finale for the fireworks. Okay, that's huge for us. We're doing things that CBS Sports will want to include, including that wing walking act on that break of that show. When the boaters are taking their first break, you'll see the wing walker come in with her plane. It's a biplane with smoke oil, and she'll be walking on the wings, and that's part of the intermission. And we'll have an air show combination with the world-class fastest boats in the world, the Great Lakes Offshore Grand Prix. All right, so we'll move in with the lineup for the July 4th celebration. July 3rd, we have Wooden Ship. These are members from Dunkirk High School who have reunited to provide a complimentary concert for our area. They'll open up July 3rd, and that's followed by the huge horns of the Chicago Authority, a Chicago tribute band, on July 3rd. July 4th, Rockin' Robin comes in. These two ladies have traveled all across the United States playing at various casinos. Rockin' Robin and Jackie. I'm sure many of you are familiar with these two old ladies. We had them with us down at the SBS last year, and they put on a phenomenal show. Furious George is also on that lineup. Midnight Recovery. And then we finish up as our main attraction, The Rising, with our very own Frank Beach here with us today. So that's a great lineup. And then July 5th, another Music on the Pier. It's going to be at the park because of the closing of the pier. But Kiss This, a Kiss tribute band with the makeup and all the costumes, sponsored by Brooks TLC Kaleida. And then opening act for that is Rocket Ship 7, another local act. That's quite the weekend at Memorial Park, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Quite the weekend, just to make a notation there. July 11th, we have a new band coming in, Foreigner Tribute Band. It's called Urgent. That's sponsored by G&E Tents. And the opening act for that is Grunge Box. We'll move in right into July 18th, the Breeze Band, sponsored by Fieldbrook Foods, which is Wells now. Opening act is Red Rhythm. That's a blues band. And then we also have July 25th. This is a huge act. The Buffalo Music Hall of Fame and I have collaborated in bringing many of their Hall of Famers to perform here in the city of Dunkirk. That's sponsored by Inks International, and the opening act there is Bad Habit. they're going to bring about 10 to 12 Hall of Fame musicians out of Buffalo and the Western New York area. They also, I've secured the appearance of one of the Bills Legends players, the safety cornerback, Jeff Nixon will be here signing autographs and a meet and greet opportunity for all the children. So if you have children, bring them down. He'll be here for quite some time during that date, July 25th, okay? We move into August, and the Who Are You are back. If you remember a couple years ago, I told you the singer had a stroke. The band is back. They're in from Massachusetts. Who Are You? A celebration of the Who coming in, sponsored by Owl Homes and Dominic Belanti. And also opening act there is Zen City, another local band. And then we're moving into the August 8th with the Strictly Hip, Tragically Hip tribute band. Strictly Hip draws a large crowd, and they're sponsored by Stell. And opening act there is Big Tone Band. Moving into August 15th, we have that lead guitarist, blues guitarist out of Chicago with her original band coming in. She's not signing anybody else up. This is the original band coming from Chicago, Illinois, sponsored by Farrell Roofing. Opening act is Ion Sky. All right? We have the Beach Bash also listed on here as one of our festivals, world-renowned sand sculptor Dan Belcher, and we're working with a band that's not confirmed as of yet, but we left that date open for now until we confirm the date. It will happen either the 9th or the 10th, or we'll tie it into the boats. That's going to be sponsored. They're going to do a Make-A-Wish Mikey's Way, is it, Dan? Maybe Dan can share some of that with you guys a little later. But the band is Deb and the Dynamics coming out of Florida. There's a three organization sponsor for that. That's a wonderful idea. They're going to raise money and donate it to a needy non-for-profit organization. Fieldbrook Foods, again, Wells, and Community Bank sponsor the Beach Bash. We'll be moving back and forth on these dates now, on the music on the pier. I know the mayor touched base on that in the press conference with the Great Lakes on Offshore Grand Prix, but I just want to remind everybody that these are just temporary cards right here. There's some, like for example, we'll have to fix Fieldbrook to Wells. When the 30,000 rack cards come out, you'll see where the locations will be for those bands, okay? Memorial Park, Wright Park, Washington Park, and Point Gratiot are all going to be used to showcase the many renovations done to the parks under the administration and the leadership of Mayor Rosas. So we have all that happening until August, right around the 1st of August. They have until the 10th per the contract, but the way they're moving, I think the pier just might be able to be done by August 1st, and you're going to see a very different pier. Before I go on, I want to remind you that the show for the Great Lakes Offshore Grand Prix, last year's show is going to be on CBS Television Network on Mother's Day. So when you get up that morning and fix your eggs and your breakfast for your mom, don't forget to turn on the TV to CBS Sports Network, and you watch the whole 1 hour show showcasing the Dunkirk area, and you'll see the 40,000 people that were there. I've already taken a look at that presentation, and the whole line, the whole waterfront line from Point Gratiot down Cedar Beach, down the bike path is all lined full of people. Memorial Park, all the way past Clarion, down to Wright Park and the Beach Hut, all lined with people, and you'll see it through the aerial photos and the drones and the helicopter shots that they took. They had a lot of different angles. So I'm really looking forward to having that presentation done by CBS. And we have a 3-year deal with CBS, so we're looking forward to this year's presentation, where you will notice the change in the pier, and you look at the TV presentation from CBS, and this year's presentation, May 12th, on Mother's Day, and then compare it to what you're going to see this year with the renovated pier, and you'll see the difference, I'm sure. Okay, so we left off with Who Are You? We're going to Strictly Hip. All right, August 15th, Joanna Connor, a phenomenal lead guitarist with the blues band out of Chicago. We're moving right into August 16th and 18th. That's a phenomenal week. This is the huge special event everyone's talking about, and we're going to expect a lot more people this year, definitely a lot more boats. Last year they had about 20 boats. This year we're looking near to 40 boats. So it's a nice problem to have, to find parking for these boats, because the county will supply the buses to shuttle these guys, and we've talked to the college, who will allow us to use the parking lots at the college, and the fairgrounds, who have also allowed us to use their parking. So we'll have much parking, and we'll have 3 buses going to shuttle the passengers into the city of Dunkirk and the show line. And then after the show is done, after they've visited the boardwalk, maybe had a couple of cocktails, they can go back on the bus, and they can be taken to their parked cars at the different respective lots. My thanks to SUNY Fredonia College and Kevin Kearns, who was influential with that, and the Vice President, Dr. Kearns. And also, we want to thank the County Fairgrounds Board for allowing us to use their lot also, and secured that lot. August 22nd, we move right into the Wanted, the Bon Jovi Tribute Band, sponsored by Graf. And I said Realty. Now, is that just Graf, Dan? Graf Realty. You're picking on me, Dan. Opening act, Wild Card Band. Opening act is the Wild Card Band, and they're new to the area also, a local band. August 29th, we move into the Aftermath Experience. Now, the Aftermath Experience has agreed to do a tribute to Corey Wells and the Three Dog Night. So they're going to play one set of a tribute to Corey Wells, who used to live here in Dunkirk and was the singer for Three Dog Night and has passed on. So that's a nice tribute. I think that'll draw a nice a crowd for that afternoon. So sponsored by First Ward Falcon Club, and the opening act is Midnight Recovery. Todd Langworthy, a former employee of WDOE, I'm sure Dave Rowley remembers him. He's part of that band. August 31st, we have the Heritage Festival. That's something new to the area. We had the many different genres of music who just didn't quite fit the music on the pier. So we're going to do the Heritage Festival. We have the sponsorship of the Fredonia College. Blue Cross Blue Shield headquarters out of Western New York here in Buffalo has agreed to sponsor that, and Hispanics Organized for Progress in Education. We have Soundboy Cartagena. So Soundboy Cartagena has a very rare type of genre he's doing with salsa, where he hits hip-hop in Spanish, directing it at the youth of the United States and the opioid problem. And he sings praising songs and in how do you say, affecting the communities with all of the opioid problem that we do have, okay? Just a good thing to have for maybe we can involve KSAC and some of the other agencies here in Dunkirk. Then it's followed by a band out of Rochester, New York, orchestra. It's a 13-piece orchestra, Antonetti. Their second time here. We had them here in 2016. It's a great band to hear with all the horns and the jazzy sounds there. Kokomo Band kicks that off, Kokomo Time Band. They're the opening act on August 31st at the Heritage Festival. That'll be done at Point Gratiot. Excuse me. The free trip giveaway, again, sponsored by Schultz. The free trip giveaway last year was won by Tricia DeJoe out of Fredonia, and we'll be doing that same giveaway again. We'll tie that in with a AAA marketing campaign so that they can buy their trip with the funds that they receive, and anywhere in the 50 states. It was the 48 continental states, but we've included Hawaii and Alaska now. So that's a possibility also. Wherever they want to go, they can go up to a $2,500 value. Okay? We're moving on. September 7th, Picnic at the Point. That's brought to you by United Healthcare. Also, United Way. And we have The Freeze, opening that up. 2nd Street Sunset. And then Son Boricua, another Latino band. That pretty much completes our music on the pier and summer festivals and events. And then you'll remember we'll have the Winterfest and SBS. That gives us about a dozen festivals this year, folks, for the summer. And it's just phenomenal that we can put that kind of a lineup up for you. And we couldn't do that without our sponsors. So please, at this time, a warm round of applause for all of our sponsors. There's something new. I always try to have a surprise for you. So something new that we're going to be doing this year at all of our events. It's called the Mayor Rosas Pier Cam. What that is the many folks joining us in the crowd. There's thousands of people who join us at many times in the event. Can take a picture, send it to one of our phones, and we'll scan it for viruses. And once it passes, it'll give us a green light to go ahead and post it on the Videotron that we have at the boardwalk. So many people can take their selfies while they're at the event, send it to the number, and we got it. And we'll post it up at the LED screen. Something new, and I think it's going to do well here. I think that pretty much concludes our presentation for today. Any questions from anyone? Sure, go ahead.
You missed for July 23rd?
Did I? And July 23rd is 25th, you mean?
No, the 23rd, the Tony Pearl, Great Lakes. Did you say that one?
Oh, Mary's Deli. That's yeah, Mary's Deli celebrating the 40th anniversary of their business in Dunkirk through many generations. I grew up in that neighborhood, and his mom has passed on, but we have her video up on the LED also. Mary's Deli's been around for many, many generations. Tony Pearl is a one or two piece act, and he's agreed to play at a reasonable cost, and pretty much donated his time to Mary's Deli. And we'll have a city stage there for that, 10 by 10 stage, and he'll play his piano, and he's got another guy. So it's a nice duo, and we're going to be collecting canned goods to donate to rural ministry on that event, tied in with the city of Dunkirk. But as you can see by what I've given you, you're free to take those home. The rack cards should be about a couple weeks. I'll talk to Dan. I'm sure he'll put me in touch with Star, and we can get that done for you. And at this time, I am also going to mention, welcome back the mayor, and I want to thank you for being here for our press conference. And Mayor, you want to add a couple more things?
Did you mention the boat parade that's going to happen for the boat race?
There's a boat parade. Obviously, we're going to showcase many boats this year, so the parade will be longer on the 16th of August. And then the racing and the time trials begin on the 17th, and you'll see all the boats in action. And the 18th will be the finals of the races, okay? Mayor? Thank you, guys.
Before we close, there was some questions about the venue as far as the pier goes. As you know, we do have a project to enhance the pier, which is under construction currently, so the music on the pier will be moved to Memorial Park. We do plan to move it to the point and maybe Wright Park as well, and everybody will be notified of that if and when we do it. But for the most part, the music on the pier this summer will be at Memorial Park until, of course, the pier is done. Okay, and the pier is scheduled to be completed August 10th is the date that it's supposed to be done. Hopefully, it'll be done sooner than that, but August 10th is the deadline. Now, at this time, I will take questions if there's any questions. Dave Rowley.
What about fireworks? You had some tentative plans on that.
The fireworks are still being planned to come out of the pier. Is that correct, Randy?
Yep.
Yes. The fireworks will go as planned, as normal.
And then during the boat races, that'll come off a barge. Because we'll have CBS crews recording there, so we'll have that pier, that area will be shut down, but they will shoot their fireworks off from the barge. Okay.
Any other questions at all?
Can you add one more thing, Mayor? On the 18th, that wasn't confirmed, so I didn't mention it, but I think it's worthy of mentioning. If you want to read that, Bernie Williams.
We are still working and negotiating on this band here, Bernie Williams and his all-star band. We're trying to get them. We've been in contact with them, and that may be a possibility. We're not sure as of yet, so we have no confirmation at this time.
Right. Bernie Williams, for those of you who don't know, 4 World Series rings with the Yankees, center fielder, Hall of Fame candidate, and he's got a great band.
I guess that weekend he's planning to be at Cooperstown for the induction of Mariano Rivera, and we thought we could get him to slide over for a show here. If we can, great, but we're still working on that, so I cannot confirm it. So at this time, this concludes the presentation. Thank you all very much for coming, and good things happening in the city of Dunkirk. Thank you.